and rooted in the market and the values of the marketplace. How do you think this president's doing?
Wow, I'm fearful for my children and their children, and the just massive amounts of debt that's piling up and that somebody will have to reconcile. So I'm very frightened by that. I think that there are some things that are being done well, but I was not a fan of how the healthcare reform process was handled, and I hope that that's not an example of how reform is going to be handled going forward. So I'm not overly supportive.
Here's what I don't get. He had the support of an awful lot of rich people. I think the majority of people making over $200 grand a year.
He's alienated a lot
Obama.
of his initial supporters, yeah.
But he's also doing things that he said he was going to do. So all those folks on Wall Street, money people who sent contributions to Obama, bundled for him, voted for him, what were they thinking?
It's a good question. I think he's taken a less moderate approach than most people thought, and I think it's not uncommon for you to hear things on the campaign trail and not necessarily think they'll be executed during one of the great recessions of the last 100 years. So, you know, I think the timing of some of these initiatives, I mean, at the end of the day, the American people want to hear about jobs. They want to hear how they can get their job back and how their child graduating from university will get their first job. And that has to be the I think the administration's starting to realize that, and their tone's changing. But I just take issue with the constant rhetoric that's anti-business and anti the employers that are creating the jobs that are driving our economy.
Do you hear people say that? Do you have friends, affluent friends, who supported Obama who are now looking back in horror at what they did?
I feel like there's a lot of fanning of flames and, you know, appealing to the lowest common denominator in jumping on this populist, you know, anti-Wall Street bandwagon. And I just don't think it's productive. I don't think it's productive.
On the part of the administration?
On the part of the administration, yeah. And on the people who sort of opine and agree.